it is. Oh, greetings, visitors of Blue Smoke and Black Ink, the podcast that has 30-minute sit downs with some of the finest writers around. And today we're lucky to have as our guest J.D. Scrimgeour. J.D. is the chairman of the English department at Salem State University. He's a poet, he's an author. He's won awards like the AWP Award for Creative Nonfiction. He's gotten awards from the National Society of Arts and Letters, the Academy of American Poets. More important, he's a terrific support system for all of us writers here on the North Shore. And just recently, he's been named the Poet Laureate of Salem, Massachusetts. Congratulations, JD. How you doing?
I am doing great. One correction, and Jim, don't ever make me chairperson of the English department again. I am no longer chair, and I don't intend to ever become chair again.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I talked to other chairs up at UVM and they all say the same thing. Never want to do that again. What is
yeah,
it? A lot of paperwork and
yeah.
shuffling around and things?
Uh, Um, I like to say meetings are the death of creativity, and there's a lot of meetings as part of a chairperson. So,
Yeah, I remember in my time on faculty, you could fill up any amount of time that you had allotted. If it was 3 hours to do something, you'd take the full 3 hours. If you had
right,
to do it in 4 minutes, you could do it in 4 minutes.
yeah.
Uh, but you still are Poet Laureate of Salem, I presume.
That is right. I have not resigned that post yet. No.
And did I hear your family gets free occupancy at the House of Seven Gables, or is that just a rumor? Just
Uh,
kidding.
Honestly, I haven't tried it yet. We'll see.
Give it a try. JD, more seriously, I know you have two projects that involve Salem, and I'd love to talk about both of them. One is your personal writing, and one is your call for other residents to send in. So, either one of those, could you explain both of those to us?
Sure. Let's get me out of the way first. So, a book that I have, which is scheduled to come out officially in 2026, but is available for advance ordering, is this book here, which is Poet in High Street Park, uh, Prose and Poetry for Modern Salem. And it contains all my writing from my 3 decades of living in Salem. I moved here in 1996, and it contains a variety of genres. It has poetry, nonfiction, and a collection of short stories. And real quickly, they're divided into three sections. One is called The Neighborhood, which is about kind of living in everyday Salem. The second is The School, and it's mostly about my experiences up at Salem State. And then the last section is called The Diamond, and it's a collection of short stories that you actually helped me with, Jim, among others, which are set in Salem youth baseball and are a way to explore the changing demographics of the city. Yeah, that's the book, and people can order it. It's from Loom Street. I mean Loom Press up in Lowell, and if you can order it directly from Loom Press, that would be how to do it.
When's it
I'm
coming?
sure I'll be
When's it
giving
coming
readings.
out, did you say?
Technically, it's coming out early next year, but advanced copies are available, so people can get them now. So.
Oh, you mean even though it's not officially published, if I understand they could sign up to buy it, but they'll actually be getting it immediately. Is that
Yep.
what you're saying?
That's how it's working. Yep, yep.
Oh, that's terrific. Well, good luck to you on that. I want to talk more about your love affair with this city as we go on. And I have a poem of yours that's more of a short story that talks about it. I don't know if you remember it. It's from this book here, but we'll get to that later.
Oh yeah, did you want me to talk about the second thing I'm doing too
That's
now?
what I wanted to do. You have some sort of a call to submissions for Salem residents. Tell us about that, JD.
Sure. So you probably know, Jim, that next year is the quadricentennial of the founding of the city of Salem. And to help commemorate that, as poet laureate, I'm compiling and editing an anthology of writing by city residents, past and present. And actually, it's not just city residents. You just have to have lived or worked in Salem for at least a year to contribute something. And it should just be a piece, poetry or prose, about your experience in the city. And the one catch, which people are running into this as a problem already, is that it's limited to 400 words. So you don't need to try to tell us your whole life in Salem. Rather, I'm imagining the book as a kind of collage, which has little um, pieces of people's lives. And so I'd encourage people to think about maybe just sharing one anecdote or two about a place that means a lot to them in Salem, or something that happened in Salem, or a person that they'd want to have memorialized or remembered. And and yeah, and the book is called Pieces of Salem. So
Uh, it sounds just great. To tell the truth, little backstory here. I've actually have submitted something, so I wish you best of luck. And tell us again when that's coming out, JD.
Uh, you tell me when that's coming out. I have it's going to be a while because the submissions, we hope to start by the end of this year, know what's going into it, and then we'll be really working on the edits over the first part of next year. So probably not till next fall, maybe next summer if we're lucky.
Okay, great. And how can they submit to that?
Well, honestly, the the easiest way to do it, I could give you a website, but it's easier just to say Google these words, pieces of Salem, and then submittable, Submittabale. And the first link that shows up will be the link to submit, which gives you more information about it.
Is there a slash mark between the pieces of Salem and the word submittable? Do you know?
Well, this is just to Google these terms, and
Okay.
the first item in the search that shows up will be the link to follow.
Okay, that's going to be great. I know your love of Salem runs really deep. And of course, this month, everybody thinks of Halloween and the witches. And I just constantly am reminding them of its history of a navigation center of the world, the sixth largest city in the country at one point, and especially its literary history from Hawthorne to Scrimgeour. So I wish you luck on that. You want to talk about any of the other writings or do some readings for us?
Sure, I can. I have another book that just came out this year, a collection of poetry called "Small Rectangular Reflected World."
Oh, I
Uh,
know it well. Yeah, if you could share that with us.
sure. I'm happy to read a poem or two from here to maybe I'll read just a real short poem to begin with, and kind of uh, simple and direct in its own way. It's called Joe and Ellen.
Mm.
The winter Joe turned 80, they took the letters they'd written each other when Joe was in the service and Ellen in nursing school in the city, and read them to each other. 60-year-old words said aloud for the first time. And when they had finished, they shredded the letters. And afterwards, they told their children what they had done.
I love that poem. I've heard it before. Is that based on a memory or an experience, or is that pure fiction, JD?
It's almost pure nonfiction, in that I heard this story from my wife, and it was essentially her parents had done this. And I was both moved by the idea of these words actually being spoken to each other by people who were now close to each other when they had been apart to begin with. And then also that the act of telling people but not but not keeping the letters. It's such an interesting assertion of a kind of privacy and intimacy, but also you want people to know that you had this.
Yeah.
So I can't explain any more than that. I don't think you need to explain art, but to me, it's just a very um, interesting moment about that says something about uh, love and what we want others to know and not know about who we are.
Yeah, thank you, JD. And yeah, I always think that that line about shredding the letters always gets to me. It surprises me every time and moves me every time too. You know me, I'm never one to shut my mouth, so I'm going to read a JD Scrimgeour poem from this book,
Great.
Lifting the Turtle, which I was never crazy about the title. How'd you get that title and what's it mean?
The title is from a poem called Lifting the Turtle. But other people are not crazy about that title. But that title, um, in the poem, it's about being on a bike ride with my son, and we see a turtle on the bike path, and we stop, and he holds it and lifts it up and then puts it back down. Uh, it actually pees on me while I lift it up. But the idea is that it's a bit of a metaphor for the in the book in the terms of what is a poem, but it's sort of taking a moment in the world and holding it up and looking at it and then setting it back down.
Okay, I'll accept that. It's nothing to do with Arnold Schwarzenegger at the zoo picking up giant tortoises then.
No, no, not.
Okay, let me read some.
I asked
Yeah,
him
go
to
ahead.
bird the book, but he wouldn't. So yeah.
So many of your poems are short stories to me, and this is one getting back to the theme of Salem, Mass. That's on page 88 of that book. Salem, Mass by J.D. Scrimgeour. I hope I never forget that pack of middle schoolers at the playground near my house. How they acted like middle schoolers, shouting their conversations across the neighborhood as if showing off new sneakers. The boys doing mean things to the girls saying mean things about each other. If I hadn't been at the jungle gym with my 2 year old, I'm sure they would be smashing bottles over at the basketball court. Then, like pigeons when popcorn spills, they flocked to a spot under the basket. Some squealed. A boy held out his arm, keeping the others back. It's alive, I heard one say. And suddenly, one boy was cupping a baby bird in his hand as another climbed the pole that held the net. Give it to me, said the boy on the pole. And he took the bird and placed it in the nest that was behind the backboard. Too much misery goes down in this city that I call home. I'm in no mood to list it here. Now, in my in my children's schools, the school where my wife teaches, it's all too clear which kids won't get past their dead mothers, their addicted fathers, the fact that no one has ever read them a book. It was just one small bird who must have had a stupid parent who would build a nest on the backboard of a backboard. But that afternoon it was safe, and I chased my son, trying to stop him from stepping in the dog shit, and the voices of those middle schoolers fading as they made their way back up the block to go play video games and pretend to kill things as I held his hand while he zipped down the slide, and I thought, yeah, I guess I could live here for the rest of my life. That's just beautiful, JD, and I hope you're still planning to live in Salem for the rest of your life.
Uh, no plans right now to leave.
Good,
but we
good.
do like New York. So
Yeah, yeah, it's a second thing. I want to talk about something else, though. You're not only a great author and a great poet, but you're an incredible resource for people, for the writers of the north of Boston here. Tell us a little bit about the Salem Writers meetings that you conduct.
sure. Well, Jim, uh, you've been a long time attendee and member, and a great resource yourself and support for Salem writers. I know that. The Salem Writers Group meets twice a month at the Salem Athenaeum, first and third Tuesdays at 7 p.m., and it's open to anyone. It's open genre. And I started it over 2 decades ago with the writer Jennifer John, who had come to me and just sort of said she was starting off on her writing career, and I was too. And she was like, "Is this all there is?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but I hadn't really. I had 2 kids, and I hadn't really sort of gone out into the larger writing world. I was too busy living my life. But one thing I could do was I started this writers group at the Athenaeum, and I can't tell you how many people have come through and been part of the fellowship. The group itself is, I like to say, the emphasis is on pleasure more than pain. So while you will get very thoughtful, helpful critiques of your work, the emphasis is on community and having a chance to share your work and seeing what it sounds like out loud, how it hits people. And that's how it works. People get 10 minutes. They'll often share a portion of their work, especially if it's prose, and then we'll leave a few minutes for comments. And there's no reading beforehand, there's no homework assignments. It's very casual. We often have a little holiday party at the end of the year with food and stuff. It's just been a great group, and it's supported a lot of writers who have gone on to do amazing things. And Jim, I know that we've heard more than a few chapters of yours over the years. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I've always enjoyed that group. I get to it whenever I can. I'm always impressed not only by your support for everybody, but for your patience. You're just are terrific with that group of people. Let's admit it, some of them for 14 years I've been here reading basically the same work every 2 times, but you're always just so patient with everybody, from the published writers to the first termers, and I just love your doing that. Let's go ahead. Oh, I
oh,
thought you
the
were going to
one
say
thing I would
something.
say is that's one of the things that keeps it fresh for me, not the patience exactly, but the fact that there's always turnover and it's open. So that sure you're going to get some wild cards that you wish weren't in the deck sometimes, but also you're always getting new blood and new ideas, new writing, and so that's what makes it different, I think, than a lot of other closed writing groups.
Yeah, you should really be very proud of your years. How many years have you said you've been doing that? 20
Over
years?
over 2 decades now.
Wow, that's terrific. And tell us a little bit about your work with Chinese students and Chinese writers. What's that's all about? It? What is that all about at Salem State?
Well, all these questions, they're great questions, and I'll try to keep my answers brief. But
Yeah, take your time.
back in 2018, I volunteered for no reason I knew at the time to travel to China to teach for a month in a new program that we were starting with Nanjing Normal University in China, where we would bring 18 students per year from Nanjing Normal over to Salem State, and they would study for their middle 2 years of college at Salem State, go back to Nanjing for their final year, and they would get degrees from both institutions. And I was the first person to go over there in the summer. I taught a class to the group, which was part of the arrangement, taught one over there, and then they came over here, and I basically became their advisor and mentor and have been doing that ever since for every subsequent group. So now I think we're on our eighth group now, seventh or eighth group. So, And that has resulted in a lot of interesting work, not the least of which is that I've become really interested in China. If you've read my last poetry book, there's a bunch of poems about China in there. But also, I wrote a book that was originally written in Chinese. This book has reading copies scrawled in front of it called Shangjiao Mianbao, or Banana Bread, which I wrote originally in Chinese as a way to practice my Chinese during when COVID set in, and and I couldn't. I had been working with students on a translation group. We would try to translate Chinese poems into English, but once COVID set in, we couldn't meet anymore. So in the Google Doc that we had to share poems, I started writing these little poems in Chinese. And I'm sure they sound like a deranged kindergartner in the original language. But then I translated them into English and then worked with a student of mine, Mingyue Tao, to fine-tune the Chinese. And so that was another result of these collaborations. And then I've been publishing our translation group that we had, which includes American writers too, and American poets are welcome to join us. MP Carver's a regular in this group, but we've published poems in some, pretty accomplished magazines. I just had a poem come out in Washington Square Review. We had one in Literary Matters, another Chicago magazine, Northwest Review. Anyway, we published a lot of translations of contemporary poetry, and I feel like there was one other thing I was. Oh, and then we are going to have another book come out. Me and two student editors, Xinyi Guo and Xian Liu. They edited a collection of poems by local Salem poets, Salem area poets, translated into Chinese by Chinese students. And it's coming out with Javi Awan's press, Derby Wharf Books, and it's titled A Quiet Little Idea. And it's going to have the poems both in English and in uh, Chinese. Um,
Right. That's just incredible. I'm still amazed at the fact that basically on a whim, on a decision to go teach it overboard, you became bilingual. You're fairly fluent in Chinese and not only speak in it, but write in it. I'm amazed.
Well, I fooled you. That's true, as my Chinese students can attest. But I, I'm just sort of holding on. It's Chinese is an incredibly difficult language to learn, especially we've all heard that it's hard to learn a language later in life, and it is definitely very hard. But I can spit out a few sentences in Chinese, but I like to say if people talk to me in Chinese, 我不懂, I don't understand.
Oh, okay. But I've asked you this question before. I never really understood. When you're writing in Chinese, do you personally, JD Scrimgeour, have a keyboard that has Chinese characters on it?
No.
Oh, okay.
So there's this thing called pinyin, which is basically the transliterating Chinese sounds into the Roman alphabet. So
Wow.
you get a program on your computer, you download this little thing, you type in the sound, like the word for heart is xin. So that would be spelled Xin. So I type that in and then a choice of characters that sound like scene pop up for me and I pick one.
Okay.
It sounds like a slow process, but when you know what you're doing, you type in a whole sentence and then the whole sentence usually will pop up for you. So it goes faster than you'd think. So,
Okay. I'm still impressed by that, but I'm a little less impressed now that you're telling me technology is doing a lot of the work for you, I think.
yeah.
Hey, we don't have too much time left. We want to do a few other things. I want to talk quickly about your family. Your wife was a teacher. Your dad is a poet, isn't he?
He is. He is.
And go
Uh,
ahead.
he's 87 and
Wow.
I brought out in this very small press of mine, I recently brought out his selected poems, as which is titled "As Only True Can Be." Yeah, and it was a good experience. It's been a good experience having a poet for a father, kind of a bullshit detector, among other things.
Oh, that's terrific. And tell us quickly about your two boys. I know they're both artists in their own way.
Yeah, well, my youngest, Guthrie, is a freelance journalist, although he's done a lot of artistic things as well. And folks can find his articles in Rolling Stone, Business Insider, on Wired. He's sort of become the Mark Zuckerberg in Hawaii expert for Wired.
Yeah.
And then my older, and he just moved to New York, where he will be joining my older son, Aiden, who's been there for several years and is a musician, has done um, a lot of things. So gosh, what are he's too many bands to think of, but you can find Aiden Scrimgeour online, and his most recent thing, he collaborated with Alita Torres for a number of um, Latin American songs of love and protest.
Oh,
And he plays the accordion on these, and she sings. They're great arrangements, and so definitely would recommend. And
oh,
actually, Aiden and I, my son, we just went to the studio this past last month and recorded a number of the songs from uh, some a number of the poems, and we've recorded them with the band and with music. So,
yeah. I knew you had cooperated with your son musically and poetically, and that's terrific. You've done both of those things. And your boy named Guthrie, I believe, is due to your reverence for Woody Guthrie, or does that have no comparison?
well, honestly, no, I'll take that.
All
But
right.
I think when we were searching for names, my wife Eileen just found that name, but I had already been, but it's not quite an accident because I'd been writing about Woody Guthrie for my dissertation on American literature. So it was more of a happy coincidence that it was the same name that we liked. But
That,
certainly there's no Guthrie has been a hero of mine too. Yeah.
oh, that's terrific. JD, we're almost out of time. This has just been a fascinating half hour. Um, to end on a more humorous note, I've been told that your poetry is so pure that it can be read with a mouthful of oatmeal and it still comes through crystal clear and as sharp as ice. Is that true?
Absolutely. Uh,
Okay.
I know that because I saw you read my poem online eating oatmeal, and it was beautiful.
I think we're gonna do that right now, just to end this podcast. I'm gonna
Okay.
again pick up a picture, a poem at random from Lifting the
Okay.
Turtle.
Because really anyone is going to be beautiful. Jim, can I just show you? I've brought my oatmeal here too with raisins. So,
Oh, well, why don't you read first and then I'll read?
well, I think let's
Or you
not
want
drag
to
this
read?
out.
We can both read together.
That might even be better. Yeah, that way, in case they miss what I say, they can hear what you're saying or whatever.
Okay. Hold
Uh,
up your oatmeal, JD, and take a big mouthful.
all right. Don't we need a poem first?
Yeah, you have to pick a poem out.
All right.
I prefer a huge ladle like this.
I noticed that.
Okay.
What
I'm
about
going to read The Stream. You got any particular poem you want to read?
I just landed on the first one, wine.
Okay,
Mine's
let's
much
go.
shorter,
One,
so
two, three.
I think
Yeah,
we
go
just
ahead.
need two lines to really get the sense of it, though. I gotta
Okay.
put more oatmeal in my mouth, though. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, one, two, three,
Okay.
read. The
On the words to be like
best,
wine,
the
earth
best
on
is
the earth
better.
breath.
The
Taste
best is
good,
better.
taste the
Okay,
all.
better, better
Some things
than that.
take in with other worldly brothers.
JT, it's been a pleasure. No one can read and write poetry with oatmeal like you can. Take care, and thank you so much for doing this interview.
Oh, this is fun. And enjoy your oatmeal.
Okay, thank
Thanks,
you.
Jim.
So long, JD.
Bye bye.